unprepared answers. Just if it was you and your best friend, those that group text that you don't want nobody to see, that's what we're diving into today. And it's not to expose you, but if you happen to get exposed, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry, because we have to get to a place where we are comfortable with checking us. Like, sometimes we have to check our mentality. We have to check, what we say, what we think. All of those things come from growth. Hey you! Welcome back to the Redefining You podcast. I'm your host, Lindria Wynn, and we are back for episode 2 of the Redefining You podcast. And I'm excited about today's episode because it's going to be a shorty, but it's going to be a goodie. It's going to be a good one, y'all. We are going to be jumping into the topic of self-awareness. And I know a lot of times people are like, well, you've been living with you for however many years and you don't know you yet. Like, there's levels to, becoming your best self and ultimately walking out in true purpose and really just being comfortable in your own skin. And I think a lot of times in life, I think we've tried to skip steps. We've skipped steps and we want to become, but we have no intention of really understanding or even embracing who and where we are. And that's where self-awareness comes in. Like, you really have to understand, like, what makes you tick, what gets underneath your skin, like that we like to call it your true colors. Like, that's what we're really diving into today. Like, unrehearsed, unprepared answers. Just if it was you and your best friend, those that group text that you don't want nobody to see, that's what we're diving into today. And it's not to expose you, but if you happen to get exposed, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry, because we have to get to a place where we are comfortable with checking us. Like, sometimes we have to check our mentality. We have to check, what we say, what we think. All of those things come from growth. And I got to tell you, I am one to push not only myself, but the people that I love most, the people around me. I'm big on progression and just being your best self. And we can't do that. We can't be our best self unless we know ourselves. Hence the importance of self-awareness. All right. So in today's episode, I am actually going to be answering some live self-assessment and self-awareness questions. On this computer, I have 60 questions that I really liked from this website. And I am going to randomly pick from the 60. I have not gone through these. I'm going to pick one and I'm going to roll with it. All right. And after today's episode, we are going to definitely be a little bit more comfortable with us. Like, even if we find after today that we're not quite who we need to be or who we want to be, I'm confident that after today, we're going to be on a path of just transparency and just willing, because self-awareness kind of exposes you a little bit. It will expose the things in the areas of our life that we need to work on and we need to fine tune, whether that's your faith, whether that's your physical fitness, whether that's your mentality, whether that's your budget, all the things. There is nothing wrong with getting exposed in your own company. Now, we're not asking you to go out here and start a podcast and blast yourself, but I am in a place and I am already semi and somewhat comfortable with me and how I operate. So I'm going to do this live. I'm not going to tell you to get on live and do this, but I'm going to do this live with my tribe, my new fam bam, because I really believe so deep, like in the core of me, that once we learn and we really learn and understand and embrace who we are, we can then be ushered into our next. I've been listening to one of my favorite pastors, Pastor Michael Todd, and he just talks about, just being here. The theme is like, here is holy. for this entire year. And it just speaks, volumes to me, because so often we get caught up in the there. But the truth of the matter is, if we don't embrace and understand and check here, we are never going to get there. Or if we do get there, because time is going to pass and things are going to happen, and eventually we'll get there. But will we be prepared for there? It's so important that we self-perfect when the lights are off, when there's nobody there watching you. It is so important that you take the time when nobody knows your name to just perfect your craft and to really, really boss up. All right. So we're going to dive right in today's episode with question number 1. Y'all ready for this? Again, this is completely random, but we are going to do, I think, 5 questions today. Question number 1, how do you handle difficult but necessary conversations? Lindria. Y'all, I'm about to be so real with you. If I have time to prepare for the difficult conversation, then I try to put my Jesus hat on. And for those of you who don't know what a Jesus hat is, it's what would Jesus do? Jesus ain't gonna go out here offending people. He's going to try to deliver the message in love. He's going to deliver the message in love. And that's something that I strive to do. But let me tell you something. If you catch me off guard, if we are in the heat of a conversation, in the heat of the moment, like I'm a big advocate for, try Jesus, don't try me, because I'm saved and I love God. But these words in this mouth, sometimes, well, I won't cuss you out, you might feel like I did, because I ain't gonna use profanity. I know my vocabulary is rather extensive. And unfortunately, if we are in the heat of a conversation and I need to deliver a truth to you, and we're going to get into, as we grow this podcast, we're going to get into, the difference between a truth and, just facts and things like that. Because there's a distinct difference between the two. But if I have to, deliver some difficult but necessary news, if it's heat of the moment, it may come off a little curt. And I might have to come back and circle back to you and apologize. But if I have time to plan, I typically try to put a little sugar on it and deliver it in the way that I would want somebody to talk to me. However, my personality type is an expressive driver. And if you've ever done any type of, sales coaching, I'm sure you've heard of the golden retriever, the beaver, the otter, and then the lion. I am an otter lion. I love people. I'm happy-go-lucky, but I'm gonna tell you what it is and what it ain't. And that's just it. So if you are, wondering how Lindria is going to deliver something, just know I'm going to say what I think. And I'm not going to, especially if you ask me. Don't ask me if you don't want to know. Don't ask me if you don't want to know. All right? I'm just going on record and say that. How do I handle difficult but necessary conversations? I attack them head on. I attack them head on. And even if I know that I've had time to prepare for it, I'm about to give you the truth. Very direct, very, very straightforward, because I believe that the minute that we go in there and we don't give everyone what they need, you don't give someone a truth, you don't give someone, ultimately the thing that they need, they're never going to get better. They're going to continue to either make the mistake or to try you or to do whatever. You have to give people what they need. And sometimes that's a hard truth. I handle difficult but necessary conversations head on. That's what I do. All right. What is your definition of happiness? Ooh, okay. I got happy thinking about that. What's my definition of happiness? Wholeness. Like really, truly just being whole. And I think happiness is a choice. Number one, you get to choose your mood. Like I know PMSing and all that, that's real. That's a thing. But I really believe that you have the ability to determine your mood. And I think happiness, number one, is a choice, but also it's it's a it's a lifestyle. I choose to be happy. Just like veganism, people choose to be vegans. It's a lifestyle. Like a lot of times they abstain from wearing certain things like leathers and just different things like that. Not only do they, take care of their bodies and things like that, but it's a lifestyle. I believe that happiness is a lifestyle. Wholeness is a lifestyle, choosing to be whole in every area of your life. Happiness to me is peace, peace, peace. Y'all, I can't stress that enough. If I'm stressed, if I am not, able to just rest and not even sleep, but just rest, like be in a state of calm and just serenity, I don't like tense and just very uncomfortable situations. Believe it or not, I'm a very anti-confrontation person. I don't like confrontation. I will deal with it. My profession causes me to live in it oftentimes, but I prefer to just be laid back and chill and go with the flow. Happiness is wholeness. Happiness is peace. Happiness is freedom. Happiness is freedom, because the minute that I allow a mood or a person or a word to strip away the very thing that I feel that I should have control over, I done gave that thing or that person way too much power. And for me, stripping of power is bondage. I just said a whole thing just now. When you give someone your power, when you give someone the ability to determine your happiness, you just gave them power. You are now a slave to them. They get to manipulate and to pretty much make you their puppet. When they can control your mood, they can control a whole lot of other stuff too. So I believe that happiness is freedom. So those three things: wholeness, all things, freedom, and peace. That's happiness to me. And I strive to have all three elements, and I try to practice all three elements on a consistent and constant basis. All right. Ooh. Are your actions mostly guided by love or fear? Whew. Now I'm finna really be in my business, because some days I can say love, but as of late, most days it's been rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of, just life. Since living in a different city, so much further away from home, and with these crazy drivers out here, I find myself in a place of just anxiousness. And I know that's nobody but Satan. And I do the very best that I can to, keep my emotions at bay, just trusting the Lord with all my heart. I do my very best. But some days, that anxiety and the fear of what if, and here's my truth, y'all. I like control. I like to be in control. Hence the reason I said I'm not going to be a slave to nobody. Okay? I'm not going to be a slave to nobody. You're not going to steal my joy. It's just not going to happen. And because of that, I fear lack of control. I fear being a puppet to something or someone. Even, I'm just gonna be real transparent, on my fitness journey, some days I fear that I'm never gonna get to my goal because I haven't fully checked my mentality. Let me just, this question ain't even on here, or maybe it is. I can't read through all of them, but something that I'm struggling with is being consistent. I think I mentioned in the first podcast that some days I am inconsistent and flaky. And I'm sure most people can relate and be like, you know what, girl, me too, sis. I'm on the struggle bus. But no, I really be on the struggle bus, y'all. Like, I be on the struggle bus. Like, I can plan out what I'm planning to eat today, and the smallest thing can throw a wrench in it, or I can have a rough day, a just stressful day, and I just want to sit down and eat some ice cream. And I know that ice cream is not in MyFitnessPal. But here we are. Here we are. And again, because I don't like to be controlled, I'm just letting y'all all in my business. But because I don't like to be controlled, you're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to steal my joy. And this ice cream in this moment is going to bring me joy. I can't be alone. And if I am, I'll be by myself on this one. But this is my truth, y'all. Y'all are all in my business today. You're in my business today. I struggle with being consistent. I am a masterful starter. And I'm very ambitious. But I struggle. My area of opportunity is staying consistent and being ritualistic with the growth and the leaps and the bounds that I'm making in life. All right, we're going to go with one more question. What has fear of failure stopped you from doing? Fear of failure. Fear of failure has stopped me, or I won't say stopped, but it has delayed me from starting this podcast. I could have started this podcast at the top of 2022. I had the ideas. I had all the things that you would need to start a podcast. I had at the end of last year, besides the equipment and things like that. But I don't know nothing about technology like that. I mean, if you show me what to do, I can run with it. However, I am not a masterful computer whiz. I know just enough to be dangerous, and if you show me what to do, I can do it again. I'm a super efficient and fast learner. But the idea of stepping into something brand new and unknown in an area that I feel like is already saturated, and the people are already giving the people what they need. Like, who am I to step in here? What makes me special? And that doubt, and doubt is just another word for fear. Like fear, failure, doubt, all of those things are intertwined. They're sisters, and I mean like almost twin sisters. Like, they may be fraternal twins, but they ride the same bus. They are on a tandem bike together. The fear of failure has definitely stopped me from doing, or prevented me, or delayed me from starting this podcast. Fear of failure delayed me from writing that book that I wrote. And it's right here in the corner, y'all. The Sanctuary 40-Day Devotional for Your Journey to Self-Love. Go cop that. Shameless plug. Ain't no shame in my game. It'll change your whole life. I find myself, as of recently, going back through and reading excerpts from my book on a consistent basis. And it's really weird rereading what you wrote, but I can't tell you how instrumental that book has been in my own life, knowing that God gave me those words to write, and then later having those same words minister to me as if I didn't write them. It's like an out-of-body experience, and I can't really explain it, but it's the best feeling in the world, y'all. If you're thinking about it, you're on the line about it, just go ahead and do yourself a favor, cop it. It'll bless your whole life. But yeah, I think that's going to be all we're going to do today, because we have to jump into the redefining moments of this episode. So on this week's redefining moment, we are actually going to take a moment of reflection. I'm praying that this moment changes you. If today were the last day of your life, how would you live it? What are some words that you would say to people? Would you, if today is the last day of your life, would you lift your eyes in heaven the next time that you open your eyes? What would people say about you if you were no longer here? What would your obituary say? What would you leave your family? What would you leave your children? Would your children be financially set, or would they be financially screwed in your absence? And not to scare anybody, not to, you know, sound morbid, but that's a real thing. I see so much and so often, especially young people. I'm 29 years old, and I've seen so many of my counterparts and my people in my age bracket just dropping like flies. And it's not from like car accidents and stuff. It's from illness. And it's like, man, how often do we take for granted our temples, our bodies, like the only thing that we have to live in? It's like, why choose to live in a hoopty when you can live in a Tesla? Like, and I'm really trying to reframe my mind in the way that I think about, you know, food and looking at it as fuel. Pray for me, y'all, because this is going to be a testimony for me. It's going to be a testimony. I declare and I decree. And if y'all have some, you know, some suggestions and you want to be accountability partners, I already have some amazing accountability partners. And we send each other our workouts and stuff. The workouts are not my issue. 4 days a week without fail, I'm getting my butt in that gym, and I'm going to work it out and I'm going to sweat it out. But something that I've learned and something that I do know now, you cannot outwork a bad diet. All right? So think about that for this week's redefining moment. What can you do differently? Because we're going to pray that today is not your last day here on earth. But if it were, would you be ready to go? Would you be able to leave everything that you have here and go be with the Lord? Or would you be with the Lord? If you are not certain about that answer, do me a favor and DM me. Like, find me on Instagram at Quench Dree. Matter of fact, do something first. Follow me and then DM me, because I want to have a conversation with you and lead you to Christ. If you don't know Him personally as your Savior, this is a ministry for me. This is an outlet, but it is also a ministry. I don't want anyone to perish. And ultimately, if I have the ability to lead someone to Christ, that beats any follow, that beats any comment, any brand deal, anything. So think about that. That's your redefining moment for this week. Where will I spend eternity? And if this were your last day here on earth, would you be satisfied? Are you happy with what you're leaving? And if not, one simple question: what you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? What are you going to do about it? Here's the gotcha. You have everything that you need on the inside of you to change the trajectory of your life. You have everything that you need on the inside of you. You don't have to go buy it. And here's the thing, no one has what you have. No one has the call on your life that you have. The call that you have is your call and no one else's. So be encouraged and know that I am praying for you. Every viewer, every follower, every new person that comes into this tribe, into this podcast and tunes in and becomes fam, I am going to be praying for you that you can grow and you can glow, and that you can truly live out the principles of God and the promises of God for your life. All right. So that is officially episode 2. Y'all be great. Do exactly what God has called you to do. Be obedient today. And I'm talking about a quick obedience. I'm working on that too. Because it's one thing to be obedient. That question that was all in my business about what is fear of failure stopped you from doing, that was the Lord. Because sometimes, like I said, it never stops me. Because I'm not gonna be a slave. But sometimes I drag my feet. Sometimes I drag my feet, and I'm not quick to be obedient. We working on that. We're working on that. Until next time, folks, you have an amazing day, an amazing rest of your week. Go out there and grow and glow. Love you.